This is definitely an animal rights horror film. Revenge of the Hamburgers is a horror comedy film similar to the Evil Dead, Dead Alive, Return of the Living Dead series, where it's very stimulating to watch, comedic, but also terrifying. The premise of the film is that cattle are subjected to a new preservative drug that counteracts with their antibiotics, causing them to return to life from the dead to seek havoc on their oppressors. It's a role reversal of what often, if not always, happens in factory farms. The movie follows Maddie, who witnesses the change of the small-time farm into a factory farm after being bought out through a large corporation. She sees the death of many of her friends, the changing of the whole attitude about what farming meant to what it's become. She's artificially inseminated and sees her own calf slaughtered for veal in front of her, up until the point to where she is the first test subject for the new experimental meat preservative, then slaughtered. She rises again from the dead as Mad Cow and leads the animal ghouls on their rampage for revenge. The film also follows the main characters, Tanya and Alec, who are both vegan but very different types of people, as they're faced with the obstacle of their own personalities and weaknesses as they see these animal ghouls slaughtering people who they would consider hypocrites, friends, family, foes. It opens up a whole field of debate, irony, and chaos. All the money donated goes to the production value of creating the animal ghouls, the practical effects, and the blood. This film requires a pretty decent budget because we have to make these animal ghouls look very convincing, very realistic, with puppets, costumes, and even animatronics. There's lots of practical effects, tons of blood and body parts, human heads being severed. Catering, of course, will be 100% vegan, as well as all the supplies and tools used to create the film all the way through. This film requires a higher budget than any of my previous films, which I was pretty great at doing out of pocket and with very small amounts of contribution. I'm not sure if we've ever spent more than $5,000 or $6,000 on our previous films.
I love this idea. I think it's a great idea. Just as a horror film and as a zombie film alone, it's a unique idea. And then also as a vegan and somebody who cares about animals and what happens to them, I'm totally down for this film. I don't agree with what we're doing to animals these days, and I think it's sick and disturbing. Even if in the wild certain animals would kill other beings, right now they're just being enslaved and fed chemicals and tortured, and it's not natural for them. And it's really disturbing.
This film is quite ambitious, but it'll be made regardless. But we need your help in promoting this, spreading the message. We really need the funds to create this film. It's going to be created regardless, but the more help we get, the faster we can make it, the better we can make it.